The narcissist tries to destroy from the inside out. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So what does the narcissist want to do primarily? Well, what they want to do is they want to get a host, because the narcissist is a parasite. And they want that host to do things for them indefinitely. And once the narcissist believes they find a better host or a more suitable host, they will slither off onto that person and begin to extract things from that person, which is known as supply. And supply could be time, money, energy. It could be a pet, it could be a trip. It can be communication or being hung up on. Supply is anything that fuels or feeds the fragile ego of the narcissist. Now, having said all these things, what the narcissist continues to do is, number one, overplay their hand. Number two, shoot themselves in the foot. Number three, think that they're the smartest people in the room. And number four, never think that they're going to get caught or that people will ever figure out who they are. You're one of the fortunate people who's becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and you're realizing that toxicity has two legs. It walks and talks just like you do, and that also the narcissist is at the top of the toxicity list. You see, this person infiltrated your life. They assimilated themselves with you. They learned all about your goals, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, your educational level, your romantic interests, what you wanted to do in the short-term future, the medium-term future, and the long-term future. Then once the narcissist deemed that you had something that they wanted, then they got you in the love bomb or the euphoric stage, and you were all excited thinking, this person's so amazing, I can really elevate them, I can really help them, I can do so much for them. And they were saying to themselves, yep, got another one on the hook. Took me 4 months this time, took me 3 weeks, maybe it took me 8 months. But now I have another unpaid helper, another walking apology, another walking ATM. I have a person who's going to do more and more for me, and I will try to work my way from them inside out, meaning get them super close, then have them want to be around me, near me. This is why the narcissist plays the texting games, the pining games, the stalking games, the spying games, the phone games, the triangulation games. And once they know that they had you, or once they knew they had you, they knew that you were going nowhere because something pivotal happened. And what that pivotal thing was, you either got married, you had kids, you moved, you relocated, you went into business with them, or you became a roommate, whatever you did. Then that's when they knew that they had you, because they knew you were going nowhere, because they knew that you didn't have the wisdom. You didn't know who they were, what they were doing, and what they were capable of. Now you're understanding all those things. So how they began to work from the inside out, trying to destroy your life, it's once they learned about you. Take your hobbies for a minute. Example, maybe you used to like to do Pilates and do spinning class and yoga. Well, the narcissist, what would they do? They would join those classes or tell you, why would you do that? You shouldn't be spending that kind of money. There's no reason for you to be doing that. Or paint it some different way. Next thing you know, you went from being in great shape, perhaps, to not being in great shape. All the money and the time that you were spending on those classes and those hobbies, now that went into the narcissist. And they knew that. See, they funneled you away from what was important to you into them, and they had you believing that you needed them, you needed to be with them, you couldn't do without them. That's what's called the trauma bond, the devaluation stage, the narcissistic fog. Any and or all three of those are unique to themselves, yet interchangeable, and they all equal one word. That's right, toxicity. The narcissist knows what they're doing. If you think for a minute that they don't, you really need to think again. They breathe the same air, they use the same transportation, and they have access to the same social media, etc. as you do. What the narcissist did early on is they figured out how to manipulate human beings, how to brainwash them, how to trap them, how to lead them down the road to destruction, how to take whatever they could and sell them a bill of goods and give them absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing in return. And so this is how the toxic person you're considering, they began to work their way inside out. Once they got really close to you, here come the seeds that would be planted in your mind. Seeds of doubt, seeds of wondering, seeds of bewilderment, seeds of being questioned, seeds of questioning yourself, seeds of seeing if you would ever be good enough, or if you were who you thought you were. See, the narcissist wanted to deconstruct you. They wanted to make sure that you lost your identity to them, that you would become subservient to them, that you would need them, and that you would be in communication with them for as long as that relationship would last. This is what they do. Remember, the narcissist has a closet in the back of their tiny little brain, and that's filled with so many skeletons you wouldn't even imagine. You, at one point, were in that closet, meaning you were trapped in the narcissistic fog. You're out, you're healing. Most people will never make it as far as you have. This video is not doom and gloom. This video is the reality, the cold, hard truth that once you get the wisdom, you need to apply the tools. You need to understand that this person did work from the inside out, and I'll talk about the out in a moment. And they were trying to destroy you, your life, your relationships, take your money, take your time, take your spirit, take your energy, your purpose, your hobbies, your health, and so much more. And once they took whatever they wanted from you, which probably was almost everything, that's usually when the discard comes. And the discard usually pops up out of left field. You're not prepared for it because you weren't taught what narcissism was, so how could you know that that relationship had an expiration date? You now understand that, yeah, your relationship had an expiration date just like mine and any other person who ever enters a toxic narcissistic relationship. The reason why is because the narcissist is loyal to nobody. They care about nobody. They will throw anybody under the bus that gives them the time of day, and they will spin their narrative any way they want to, which leads me to how the narcissist worked from the inside out. Think about this. They got close to you, really close, and they learned everything about you, and I barely touched on that, and I'll go back to it in a minute. Then once they figured that out, what they did is they figured out who your friends were, who your family members were, your business associates, your neighbors, your coaches, your teachers, your friends, and then they slowly began to divide you from those people. Example, let's say you had a couple best friends and you used to go play cards every Friday night, or you had a couple best friends and you used to go grab a happy hour or something on a Friday. Well, once the narcissist got their grubby little fingers stuck into you, or their dirty fangs sunken into you, those two experiences went out the window. But what would they do before they threw them out the window? They would go attend a couple of those events with you, or Friday afternoons or evenings, and they would learn about these people. And maybe they would get a little too close, a little too chummy with them. Maybe they would plant seeds and say things like this. And my hope is this didn't happen to you, but it very well may have. The person you're considering, the narcissist, when they met your friend group, maybe they said some things like these. Yeah, you know, so-and-so's not doing too well. They're complaining a lot about some problems. They're not really on their A game. Or maybe they'll plant seeds like, you know, so-and-so said that they were really upset with you about what you did last week. And then the so-and-so, the new person that the narcissist just met, just planted a seed. You see, you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unhear what you've heard. This is why the narcissist plants so many seeds. This is why the narcissist lies. This is why they use the smear campaign, because they know if any one person listens to one word of their complete lies and fabrications, then maybe it will catch fire. And that person will spread gossip, because that's what human beings do. And then that complete lie or fabrication may become real in the eyes of the flying monkeys, or the enablers, or the people that are drinking the Kool-Aid that the narcissist is pouring. Now you may say, that's a lot to unpack. How would you know that, Andrew? Well, I lived it for years, number one. Number two, it's what these people do. Number three, if you think for a minute that your circle group, that your friends, one of those people is not toxic, you really need to think again. Now you may say, whoa, that's a little rough. I'll tell you two things here. One, if you've healed, you have a very small circle of friends or people that you love and trust and you communicate with. Those people have already been vetted. I'm referring to anybody who hasn't gone through the narcissistic abusive cycle, who thinks that everybody they know has their best interest and has their back, and it's kumbaya and puppies and rainbows and unicorns and snickerdoodles. It's not. Again, I'll say this one more time. If you've been through the cycle and you've healed, you have a small group of people that you connect with. That's just the way it works. And those people have already been vetted. And now you trust your instincts, your intuition. You pay attention to red flags and you embrace green flags. But if you haven't been in the cycle, and my hope is you are not in the cycle, well, I can assure you, you have people swarming around you that you don't even know are envious of you, jealous of you, maybe even want to be you, but definitely don't have your best interest at heart. That's why those of us who've been through the cycle and reached the mountaintop, the pinnacle of difference, we realized that the narcissists did work their way in through us. We were the open door, the open book, the person wearing our heart on our sleeve, empathetic, kind, loving, trusting, and committed. And the narcissist took everything they could from us. They infiltrated our lives, remember, from the inside out. Then they spread gossip, the smear campaign. And slowly we began to lose our friend groups. Slowly we began to be questioned at work. Like the boss or coworkers would be saying not good things about us. And we'd be like, what are you talking about? I've been working there for 8 years and it's the best job I've ever had. And people love me and they like me and I do a great job and it's like a family. Well, all it took was one Christmas event at the company party and you took a toxic person, i.e. the narcissist there, and they meet your coworkers and maybe bat a few eyelashes or give a couple eyebrow raises and start talking to people when perhaps they've had a couple too many cocktails, or maybe they didn't even have any cocktails, but they start dividing you and planting seeds. Next thing you know, you go to work Monday morning after that Christmas party People are looking at you differently and or asking questions. See, this is how it starts. It started with one person, which was you, who was targeted. And once the narcissist figured out who you were and what they could get from you and how they could blow up or destroy your life or try to, then they began to work through you and your people that you associated with. This is way back when. That's why you need to understand, once you get the wisdom, you need to go no contact, block that person, delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? If you can't do it, I understand. Utilize gray rock, become dull, become boring, get off the radar of the narcissist, and prepare to create, develop, and execute your exit plan. Every single one of us have been in the narcissistic abusive cycle who have made it this far in the video, I can almost assure you. And if you haven't been in the cycle and you made it this far, excellent work. Continue to focus on yourself and get the wisdom. Maybe, perhaps, you can get the wisdom without having gone through the cycle, and you could at least better insulate and protect yourself from the parasitical creatures, the narcissists. So this is how the narcissists work their way from the inside out. And think about the ending of that relationship. The ending of the relationship you were a part of, you most likely saw the mask slip on the behalf of the narcissist because they thought they had finished you off. They thought that they destroyed everything about you. They thought that you wouldn't make it. They thought you wouldn't exist. A little graphic, but it's true. What happened? Well, what happened is, a funny thing along the way is you did not quit on yourself. You were resilient. You were full of fortitude. You were full of purpose. You had the cravings to the questions that you didn't even know that you had in the back of your mind, or some that you did. And eventually you cracked the code. You figured it out. You found the needle in a haystack and you deduced what it was. Yeah, it was a toxic, draining, life-threatening, challenging, taxing relationship from hell with a parasitical creature, a narcissist. They never thought you would do it, meaning figure it out, because nobody before you probably had figured it out. They never thought you would heal because most likely they never saw anybody heal. They never thought you'd go no contact because they probably have a whole closet of people that are still reaching out to them, stuck in the narcissistic fog, who have never healed, who have never figured it out. You are different from everybody. And you need to remember, before I close the video, the narcissist, the one you're considering, they worked from the inside out. They did an inside job with you. They got super close to you. They learned all about you, and they began to pick you apart slowly over time. And sometimes the narcissist strikes quicker than other times, but the result is always the same. They're envious, they're jealous, they're cowards, and they're bullies. There's no substance to these people. All there is a bottomless pit, a void, a vast wasteland that needs to be filled with what is known as supply. You are not supply. You are a beautiful, bright, shining light. It's getting windy. You need to understand something, that the narcissist knew what they were doing. They did it deliberately, intentionally, and on purpose. And once you get the wisdom, you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unhear what you've heard. You need to go no contact and get away from that person as far as you possibly can. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone, and I'm holding my phone up. You're not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm going to close this one a little closer earlier because it's windy and I have to use my hands, and usually I'm hands-free. So I'll just say this. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, it was an inside job. They knew what they were doing. They're doing it right now if they're still breathing air. They will never stop. You need to maintain your boundaries. You need to go no contact and understand that you are the priority, that you come first, second, and third. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.